Japan hit its highest inflation rate in 7 decades. The sanctions that they put on Russia have, the quote from Biden, it was going to punish Putin. It didn't punish Putin, it punished the people. Again, then you look at the headlines going on from place after place. China, December manufacturing contracts at its sharpest pace in almost 3 years. Wall Street Journal, Chinese economic activity takes big hit. It's one after another. And again, they're making a very bad situation worse by ramping up the war. So let's go back to the reality. Let's go back to 2019, not ancient history. Happy New Year. At that time, Germany was a fraction of going into a recession. Let's go back to September of 2019. Hey, remember the repo markets where the Federal Reserve dumped in $10 trillion between September 2019 to January 2020 so they could keep pumping up the markets because they needed more cheap money? The businesses that they've destroyed in China and around the world are incalculable. Oh, you're talking about Italy? Now they're talking about Italy, and I think it was the IMF or one of them just came out, that they're facing the worst financial crisis of all of them concerning their debt level. And look at what's happened to the businesses. So now let's put it all together. We're looking at what happened and why it happened. So when they began the COVID war, they locked down everything. Stay at home. You can't go to work. But hey, here's some cheap money for you. Here, go on. Shut up. Here's some money. You got a business here. We're going to give you money. Oh, we're going to print, we're going to go to zero and negative interest rates. Well, they stayed on negative interest rates, in Europe? For how many years? Oh, only 8. In the United States, zero interest rate policy. The market should have crashed in 2020. No, we had a real estate boom. We had a high-tech boom. People were buying and fixing up. Here's more cheap money. Here's cheap money. But now, let's go back to the facts. We had the BS from Janet Yellen, oh, by the way, taken over by the Federal Reserve because she was the head of the Fed and now our Treasury Secretary, along with the guy playing the Fed head, Powell, going on for almost 2 years. Celente, you're full of baloney, and so are you other people. There is no inflation. It's only temporary. No. It's only transitory. They lied about it. They knew it was real. Same thing with Lagarde. So they could keep pumping in that cheap money. Now here's the big lie. Now they're saying inflation will get better because it was only caused by the supply chain disruptions, not our cheap money and our zero interest rate policy. You see where this is going? So here's the deal. If the Federal Reserve raises interest rates in February 1st, even 25 basis points, it's going to keep pushing the markets down. However, being that it's all about the bottom line, they may be less aggressive in raising interest rates, and that's why you're seeing gold prices going up. When all else fails, they take you to war. I talked about what Roosevelt did in 1941. What happened before that? There was a thing called the Great Depression. When all else fails, they take you to war. Go back to the dot-com bust. Again, in our Trends Journal magazine, October 1999, the headline, dot-com bust. Busted in March of 2000. Oh, you mean the day before 9/11, the NASDAQ was only down 66%? 9/11 happens, all forgotten. We'll create a new fake thing. We'll have a fake real estate market, a derivatives thing. We'll make up anything we can. So that's what we're saying. The United States isn't about the bottom line. The United States way out is with war. I mean, look, you can't make this stuff up. Look at the guy that's plays the United States Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin. What was he? Oh, he was a general. No, after he became a general, you mean he sat on the board as directors of Raytheon, the second largest defense contractor in the United States? Oh, by the way, look at their stocks since this has gone up. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, all the defense contractors. Boom, boom, boom. So that's where the United States is going. China and the BRICS are going in another direction. And then going back to gold. Look at all the gold that was bought up by the central banks in 2022. let's go back. We had forecast in the Trends Journal, by the way, that if there was not a Santa Claus rally in 2022, it's going to go down deep in the first 3 months of 2023. However, you cannot forecast what they're going to do. It's a guessing game regarding the Feds, because let's go back to December 2018. Woo! The markets are going down really sharp. Donald Trump put extreme pressure on Jerome Powell to lower interest rates. Just before that, going back into November, Powell said they weren't going to raise interest rates. They did. He said Powell came back in early January giving the message that they were going to lower interest rates. So the power of the president is very strong. And again, the financial business, they're the ones that run the show, the BlackRocks and the Blackstones and all the private equity groups that are in charge. If they put pressure on the Fed to lower interest rates, they're going to do it. It's not about we the people. It's about the ones running the show. I thought the economy was going to crash in 2012. They invented a thing called quantitative easing. They didn't teach us that in Economics 101 at graduate school, nor did they teach us about zero and negative interest rate policy. They could come up with anything. They're going to make up anything they want. They're the money people are in charge. Anybody that thinks they have a government of we the people, they're still being taught in kindergarten to K-12 and graduate school. That's who's in control of the government. They're going to do anything they can to control our lives. Look what's going on with the interest rates, right? What's the inflation rate? Oh, it hit 10.7%. You're still deep in negative territory. So in the United States, what do you have? You have inflation rate, it's 7.1, and you have a 4.5, 5. You're still in negative territory. So here's what they're going to do. This is going to be the year we believe that we're going to start seeing going from dirty cash to digital trash. They're going to make up something new. And that's the way they're going to get out of this thing. Look at the United States. Just passed a $1.7 trillion budget when you have a $30.1 trillion deficit. They're going to make something up. Here, the Russians just hacked our banking system. You can't get your money out. But don't worry about it. We're coming up with a new currency. They'll make up anything. Oh, going back to, I said, when all else fails, they take you to war. The guy that was the president, FDR. Oh, that's the guy. You don't own gold anymore. Bring your gold into us, or else you go to jail. They'll make up anything. And I believe this is going to be the year where there's going to be a big push toward a digital currency. That's the way we see it happening. And it's going to go like that, like that, like that. And we're doing this to protect you so we can know every penny that you spent, where you spent it, what you spent it on, so we can get the tax money, because we're politicians and we don't work a day in our lives, and we need your money and all the little clowns that we call public servants that work for us, that do what we tell them to do, so we can keep them paid, so we get all your money. That's where this thing is going. And I say to people, if you're keeping money in the bank, why are you keeping it there? What they know is how they're going to rig it. And we don't know when they're going to do it and how they're going to do it. But again, as I was saying, why would you keep your money in a bank when they're not paying you anything and they're making money on your money? So going back to gold, and again, as you well know, everybody knows, we have no advertisers in the Trends Journal magazine, so we're not pumping anybody. To us, gold is the number one safe haven asset. When gold went down into the 1600s a few months ago, we said this is the bottom. It's going up from now. And now it's been hitting, several month highs. When they go digital, gold is going to go through the roof, because that's going to be the only real currency that's going to be accepted to pay to transfer, because they're going to do away with all the paper money. Again, the whole world has gone AI. It's a whole different world. It's a whole different world. And you know what? The biggest news now that's being watched is TikTok. That's where it's all going. And so what we're saying is to protect yourself.